Hey guys, in this video, I'll be explaining support and resistance. This is a key foundation and the start of your technical analysis journey. It's always trying to find support and resistance. Once you found your trend, most likely this is what you're going to try and find next. And if you can draw support and resistance on efficiently and accurately, you can leave those levels on as long as you would like. Now, to keep it quite simple, resistance is your roof and support is your floor. This is how I've always understood it when I first started. And it's always about the current price because these will be changing depending on where the current price is. So over here, I've just got some simple price action that I've drawn. Now this could be, let's say, a daily or a 4-hour to keep it quite simple for this video. And the price has come up, it's created a higher high, then it's gone back down, and now it's kind of almost in a bit of a range-bound market. Now, how I find, let's find a level of support here first. So remember I said the current price? Well, the current price is here right now, right? So whatever we're going to do, we're going to be drawing it around because of the prices here. Now, so support is going to be your floor. So we're trying to find the key level below this current price, below it, cannot be above it, below it. So the way I've always found the key level is looking at where does this price have a hard time breaking, that's it. By looking at this chart, where has the price bounced off quite a few times where it's got a tough barrier for it to break. So over here, I'll use my red pen. I would say, look, price has bounced once there, it's bounced again, and it's bounced again. So we could draw a straight line coming all the way across. Now, two important things I suggest. One is try and draw your line as far back as you can, because most likely, let's just call this level 1.3. Most likely 1.3, if you go back in the past, I bet it used to cause some problems for it in the past because the history always repeats itself and the price usually sticks around key round numbers. So once you're drawing this, sometimes you can round it off to round numbers, which I explained from the charts anyway. So we bounced off once, we bounced off twice, we bounced off 3 times. This is our support. Next, we might try and find a resistance. Remember, current price is here, so the resistance is our roof. So we're going to try and find it above the current price. And as you can see here, one bounce there, one bounce there. Very simply, we're going to draw a line going all the way across into the future. So it's not too straight. And this becomes our resistance. So there is our floor, there is our roof. And a lot of the times, once you do this accurately, you can see the price rally between the two, sometimes giving you quite easy trade setups. But now let's say the price has gone up and it's actually not bounced, it's broken through this price. What happens then? Going back to my theory about the current price, well, now guess what? This resistance level has now turned into a support level for this pair right now. Because the price is here, anything below it, anything below the current price has to be support. But that means that we might have to then find a new resistance level. I'll use a green pen to keep it simple. So let's just say that this now has changed to a support level. Now guess what? We have to find a new resistance level, which let's just draw on here, for example, which could be due to the price beforehand, hypothetically. And the price then will trade in between here and there. Well, let's just call this no man's land. It's not hitting off resistance, it's not hitting off support. One thing you must remember now is we've got support 1, we've got support 2, we might even have support 3, because wherever the current price is, anything south of it is support, and anything above it is resistance. Let's say the price has bounced off, it's come back down, and I guess it's crashed through here again. I'm sure you guys now understand. Here is the current price. This has now turned back into resistance. Resistance we go. And this is the way we refer to the resistance and support key levels in the market. Wherever the price is, I'm curious to say, okay, how far is it from the next support level? Is it 20 pips? Is it 50 pips? And obviously you can measure that as you like. And then you can say, right, if the price was to break this level, where is the next level we're going to go down to? Where is the next support for this pair? So the next support, let's say, could be a nice 150 pip target. And this is where you start to really figure out where the price is, where can it go? If it goes the other way, then where can it go? And this is going to be your overall structure for support and resistance in the markets. Now, one thing you must know, that we want to try and highlight major support and minor support and resistance, and there's different time frames, which now I'm going to explain to you in front of the charts. But hopefully you guys understand support and resistance is your roof and floor in the market, and it's always down to the current price. Anything above it, resistance, anything below it, support.
Welcome to the key level section. So this is the first time I'll be explaining a little bit about key levels in front of the charts, and this is for you guys to go ahead and then practice with afterwards. What I've shown you guys on the whiteboard was just a drawing example of how we're going to try and find our support and our resistance, which is probably some of the most commonly used phrase and prediction and method in the foreign exchange market, support and resistance. And I'm just showing you a little bit of an overview of what the original Astro course had, go and get a little bit more detail about it, and then I recommend that everybody learn it this way first, so you actually have that experience and that knowledge. And then once you move on to Sean's way of trading, you're going to be looking a little bit more detailed, and you're going to be moving a lot of the things around, and you might obviously advance your strategies. But this is the dead simple version that we have for support and resistance. So I've got Euro USD open. I'm going to start with this pair. This is the one that we've always started with. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back. Let's go to a monthly. And so we have a lot of price action here. And what a lot of people do is they'll go ahead and they'll get their trend line tool. So let's just go trend line, or we can use horizontal line. And they'll just draw one there, then they'll draw one there, then they'll draw. And what will happen is they'll just confuse themselves with which one is support, which one is resistance, and before you know it, I've done a pretty good job, but as you can see, people will most likely have key levels look a bit like this, and they just don't know which one to respect, don't know which one's more important, don't know anything. So what myself and Sean did was we made a method of basically being able to take certain distances where the market moves and then making a kind of a mirror version to actually spot the difference between monthly, daily, and then weekly key levels. So I'm going to close this chart. Now, the way that we found this key level and the support and resistance is to, from the current price, go back in time and figure out where the price has been going sideways most recently. So from here, as you can see, it's quite simple. This is the bit where the price for such a long time, you're talking, 2-3 years from pretty much, let's look here, February 15, 16, 17, so you've got quite a long time, and all we've done is we want to focus on this area. And by focusing on this area in the monthly, what we want to try and do is spot a little roof above this area and a little floor above this area. So let's get the horizontal line tool again, horizontal line, there you go. And I'm going to draw this on, and let's just try and just draw it on here, at the bottom here. What we're going to do is we'll move it around a little bit, and let's just say on Euro USD, we've drawn this on at 0.0500. I think that's not a bad place to draw it on there. And what we can do is with the same tool, I'm going to draw it up here. And let's say we draw it at 1.14500, maybe about there. So 1.0500, and we've got 1.14500. So I'm just trying to use some like round figures. A lot of support resistance is always based around round figures. So what you can do as well is you can click on this 1.14500. Sorry, there you go. So and then let's just clean this up as well. So the round number I'm going to stick to is this. So what I've done is I've basically trapped this little area with a roof and a floor. And if we go into a weekly time frame next, in a lot more detail, you can see how nicely this is actually all worked out. You can see it's bounced here, 1, 2, 3, and there's a massive level of resistance. And over here, we can actually, what we can do, and a lot of people sometimes don't like this, we can just move it a little bit and just try and maybe make it suit a little bit better. But where we had it is pretty damn good anyway, so we'll leave it around there. And so from that area there, what we can do is identify that we're trapped in this zone, but we want to know, okay, what if it breaks out of this zone? Where will it go next? And this is where we want to try and draw another level of support and resistance on. But a nice little way to do it, and this is the original way that me and Sean did it, is you can go to your arrow tool, oops, not the arrow tool. You can go to the arrow tool. Let me try and find the arrow tool. You're finding it with me, guys. Here's your arrow tool. And I'm just going to go from here. It's not the arrow tool. The arrow tool is great start to the video. We'll use the price range tool. So with this price range tool, I'm going to go from here. And I'm going to hit on doing measuring it. So, you know, you've got the best part of pretty much like 1,000 pips, haven't you? Yep, 950 pips. What we're going to do is we're going to copy this zone to the upside, just like so. And we get that same horizontal line tool that we used before, which was here, and we're going to draw that there. So we then took this distance of 950 pips and we copied it to the upside. What we can also do is take this little tool and put it below. And what we can do then is go ahead and draw another horizontal line tool all the way across there. So again, you can clean this up afterwards, guys. So simple. You click on here and you can get it the exact price that you would like it. But what I've done, and you know what, let's try and draw maybe one more to the upside if you wanted to. One more to the upside there. And all we're doing is, this is quite obviously quite a distance away, but what we've done is we've drawn some nice monthly levels on. And so we were then prepared if the price broke out of this, so this was the original roof, and it breaks up, where can it go? Well, look what, it pretty much perfectly measured up here. So that would have been our next target, another 950 pips. Obviously that's quite a distance to hold, but you guys get the idea. And then look back, if we go back in time, wow, perfectly plays out there. Plays out there, plays out there. Look here, support, look at that. It's actually quite amazing when you actually see it drawn on. And look, we just got all that information from this area here, but that's why we draw the horizontal line and we go back in time. And as you can see, it's just perfect. And if you move this, you can probably most likely draw it perfectly there. So all these monthly levels and weekly levels, which I'm about to draw in a minute, always repeat themselves. So it's a great indication. And look what happened recently. Euro USD has popped back below, and the moment that it did, this would have been an excellent sell opportunity, because you know that it's back into this range, and most likely we have an opportunity for it to fall all the way down further. But because this is quite a distance away, also it's quite a distance, what we're going to try and do is find halfway between this price, and that's when we draw our weekly levels on. So what we can try and do is, let's try and use our fib tool. Sorry guys, I'm actually using my other computer and some other logins that are brand new, so I'm trying to draw them on here. Let's get a fib tool. There you go. And what we're going to try and do is simply from this line here to this line here. So look, my mouse is dragging this price and drag it all the way there, and there you go. Now, it doesn't matter however your fib levels are, your style, your coordinates, doesn't matter. All I care right now is about this one here, the 0.5. So that is your halfway. So you can imagine this is like 0, this is 100%, where I've done this, and this is halfway, which is your 50%. And all I'm going to do is get that same horizontal line tool that we had up here and draw your 50% on. And that has now been your first weekly level. And you guys might see that what we try and do is, with our levels, we often draw a nice little rectangle around them. And I'll explain why. So this is your weekly. So first thing we're going to try and do is separate the weeklies and monthlies, because look now, I could be getting quite confused. So if I just step out a little bit like this, and what I want to try and do is get this little rectangle tool, and you want to try and draw a nice little thin strip going across your monthlies. Let's just draw one there, and let's clone it, and we'll clone this there. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to draw it on the weekly. So it just helps me separate them a little bit. So now what I've done is, if I zoom back in, what this rectangle tool does is two things. Number one, it helps us separate the different levels, and you can do the different colors however you would like. But most importantly, it creates an area for this monthly. because people, and this is the biggest misconception people have, people think support and resistance is just one price. Like it has to be exactly 1.14500. This is incorrect. The price is an area. So if you go down to a lower time frame, let's go to a 4 hour, and let's try and go back at all this price action. Whoops, not here. I'm going to go all the way back in time. There you go. So in these many examples that I've now going to show you, let's just zoom straight in over here. Nice bit of price action here. So when the price was actually like bouncing, you could have taken advantage, but if it didn't bounce up that line, you might have been, it came short of it. But by drawing this area run, like even this is obviously a big, huge fake out, and you can't obviously know this perfectly, but this whole thing is an area of resistance. We don't know how big it is. This area could be 30 pips, could be 50 pips, the size of it. So what we're trying to draw on the rectangle, and here's a good example. I could have made this rectangle even a little bit bigger so it captures this entry here and this entry here. And in this example, you would have been like, all right, it's not hit resistance, but it has. It hit this whole area, which is hidden up here. So our reason for having this rectangle and making it quite thick, I should have made it even a bit thicker, is to capture all that price action that we might miss if it doesn't, a good example as well, it doesn't hit off our line. So honestly, guys, it sometimes is so simple to try and trade just using our monthlies and weeklies. And how I found that weekly there is exactly how I'd find it again. I just want to get that fib tool, which is on here, and this one. Sorry guys, there we go. Sorry, I'm not my computer. So fib tool here. My mouse is a bit funny. So up here we go, 0 to 100. We go over here, we get a horizontal line tool, and we draw out the 50% mark there. And that is our weekly up there. And what we can do, told you to separate these levels, is going to clone this rectangle tool, and we're going to put it here. And there are foundations, guys. This is how Astro first started and how we made trading dead simple for the whole entire industry. I know a lot of people obviously ended up using the rectangle tools as well, but it's all love. We want everyone to do well. And so over here, we're just looking at the price moving between the monthlies and the weeklies. And because we know the monthlies to monthlies is how much? 950 pips. We know that from here to here is obviously going to be half of that, about 400 something pips. So whenever we get across of the weekly here, where's the target going to be? The next monthly, the next weekly. And that's as simple as it is. So, and as you can see here, this would have been a target up here. And there you go, hit monthly to weekly. And that would have been a good opportunity for you guys again. So support and resistance is what I want to try and explain to you is our floor, which is where the price might bounce off. But then when it breaks, so once this had broke above here, our resistance, which is our roof, would have then become our support, which would become our floor. Up here, there's our roof. If it did go above it, it is kind of like bouncing on the same zone, so kind of a bad example. But up here, our perfect example here. Price breaks above, this is our resistance. It's having a hard time breaking it. Hard time breaking it. Breaks above, boom. Now it's become our support. Now it's our floor. Shooting up it goes. Nice, easy, good example of how that trade, I just lost it. Nice example how that trade would have worked here perfectly. Breaking up, support, boom, next level achieved. Support and resistance. And this is a nice way for you guys to draw your monthlies and weeklies on if you would like to. A lot of people have obviously different trading styles. And yeah, you guys can repeat this for pretty much all pairs. Now, what I'm going to try and do is not take too much of your time up, because obviously I can give you these levels drawn initially, which I'm going to give you in a minute. But one other thing as well is, even if you, let's just go to here. So even if you got your monthlies drawn on, even got your weeklies drawn on, what we can try and do is try and draw more of a daily key level. So you're going to use the daily and the 4 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour. So, because what I want to do is, let's just, I think daily is a good example. So there's a lot of sideways movement here. So there you go. We'll use the dailies. So what I want to try and do here is obviously figure out, okay, if I do not want to wait for this much of a big 400 pip trade, can I take advantage of the little small levels that I see? And all I do is what I showed you on the board. I'm trying to figure out, where does the price have a hard time breaking? Like, how can I figure that out? So get your rectangle tool. We might make a different color just for this example. And this is all about your personal opinion. So I could potentially say, right, I think there has a nice little level of a key level, which the price has a hard time breaking. So bounce there, bounce there again, bounce there again. You know what, if it breaks below, in a good example, so here, the price obviously broke below, it came up, we've got some obviously quite doji candlesticks that represent indecision, and you could have potentially found a short after this. So this has become from our support at this point when the price was here, this is our support, support, support. It then turns into our resistance. Short opportunity, you've got a nice little target, and you've got your target right ahead of you. You went from a daily level to a weekly level. Bounces back up. Now, who knows what is going to happen next, but it could just bounce from weekly and go back up to our daily. And all we want to try and do is always just go to this measuring tool to figure out, is this worth it? It's most likely going to be worth it. Yeah, 250 pips. Boy, is that worth it. Could have took your stop loss just above here. So obviously if it breaks above there, then guess what? Our roof would have become our support, and then we're out. We change directions, we move on. So hopefully this video has helped you just figure out a little bit about how support and resistance works, because I know Sean's going to go in a lot more detail for both of us. What I want to try and do is give you the simple foundations that if you're brand new, how we go about looking at the market. And yeah, you know, you could always just draw a few daily levels on here and just make them different colors. I want your charts to be however you would like them. You know, they could be blue, and you can separate the levels as much as you want. Now, as promised, if you guys want, take a screenshot of the next thing, and these are our levels that AstroFX have used, and there are lots of the major currency pairs, including gold, that you can go ahead and rip your monthlies off. There's your weekly levels as well given to you. So as you can see, GBP USD, nice round numbers. USD CAD, nice round numbers. Aussie dollar, nice round numbers. So when you draw these levels on, just think about my Euro USD example I've just explained to you guys, and think about, all right, cool. I've done my monthlies, I've done my weeklies. Can I see any daily levels anywhere? Can I see any daily levels that obviously I can find trade examples from? And what I recommend is for anybody, just, you don't have to be in a trade. Just once you draw your levels on, just think to yourself, okay, cool. You know, I could have done this, and this would have been this much of a trade. And all right, cool. If it broke this, and you know, use your ellipse tool. Do some annotations, get like this tool here and go, right here, resistance became support. Do a screenshot, add it to your journal, write it down somewhere. So you always know how the market's moving, higher highs, higher lows, plot them on. Plot on what happened, plot on that, you know, how it reacted to the monthly. And this will help you guys in your trading significantly, because trading, as you can see, look how simple I've made it look here. Very simple. It can be this simple if you keep it this simple. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video about support and resistance.